Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz, and I want to talk to you today about how to go about finding an attorney over the internet. I got an email from a friend of mine not too long ago, and she told me that she just moved to another state. She got in a car accident, and did I know any attorneys in Washington State? I don't know any attorneys in Washington State whatsoever, so basically she's on her own to find an attorney for her car accident case. But it got me to thinking about, if you don't know anybody, if you don't know any lawyers, you have no ties to the legal community, you don't know who's a good lawyer, who's not a good lawyer, how do you go about finding an attorney? And I looked at some attorney websites and I tried to figure out who to refer to, but I really had no idea because it's so far outside of my geographical area. But the one thing that I thought about is you really have a problem if you're trying to find an attorney by looking at their websites, by looking at, information online. And I think that the number one reason why you have a problem trying to find a decent attorney online is because you can't gauge empathy from somebody's website. You can't tell if they have it, if they don't have it, the degree to which they have it. And I think that empathy is the most important factor behind whether an attorney is going to be a good personal injury lawyer or a bad personal injury lawyer. Let me tell you why. People that tend to become attorneys, people that tend to go to law school, and I realize I'm making a gross generalization here, but people that tend to go to law school tend to be logical, unemotional, and don't tend to have a lot of empathy to begin with. And then when you go to law school, what are you taught? You're taught that a good attorney is objective, a good attorney is neutral, a good attorney does not develop any sort of passion, and I believe that that's really the wrong thing to teach young lawyers, because I feel that having empathy and having passion are the central number one thing that makes you a good lawyer, that makes you a good personal injury lawyer anyways. If you're doing, if you're drafting legal documents for some corporation, I'm not sure you need any passion whatsoever, but if you're going to represent real people who have sustained real injuries in real car accidents or slip and falls, then you better have some passion and you better have some empathy. Empathy is the ability to feel what other people are feeling. It's the ability to emotionally understand what someone else is going through. And in personal injury cases, your client's always going through personal difficulties. Their wages aren't getting paid, the rent's not getting paid, the mortgage isn't getting paid, maybe there's no money to put food on the table, and you need to get off your butt and you need to work for your client. And a good personal injury lawyer is someone who's motivated to work for his client. I want to tell you that motivation usually, at least in my case, comes from not wanting to disappoint my client. That motivation usually, at least in my case, comes from not wanting to see anything further bad happen to my client. If my client's been in a car accident, they don't have wage money coming in, I want to do something to help them so that they don't get evicted. I don't want to represent them in their eviction case. I want to get the wage money in. I'm motivated to get that done. And I think that comes from empathy. That comes from knowing what the person's going through. So here's my solution. If you don't have an attorney, you're looking for an attorney online, pick one that you think looks good and give a call and make an appointment to go and see him. Have a free consultation. All personal injury lawyers offer free consultation, free initial consultations in personal injury cases. So it doesn't cost you anything to go in and see the lawyer. Go see him. If if you're telling the lawyer your story and he's checking his watch and looking at his text messages, then get the hell out of there and find a different lawyer and go see that lawyer. But if your lawyer passes that initial test and you feel like, hey, maybe this guy is actually listening to me, then start asking some questions. Here's some questions that I think you ought to ask. I think you ought to ask the attorney if they have ever been in a car accident or had a personal injury themselves, and ask them what it feels like for them to be the client instead of the attorney. I think you should ask the attorney if you make an appointment to come in for a follow-up office visit quarterly, every 90 days or so, is that going to be a problem? I don't think an attorney should have any problem sitting down with his client every 90 days, every 3 months, giving an update on what's going on in the case and just maintaining that relationship, personal relationship. I would ask the attorney, how many of your cases do you actually file as lawsuits? And of those cases, how many do you actually go to trial on? How many do you try to a jury, a judge, or an arbitrator, as opposed to just taking whatever settlement the insurance company offers? You want to know how much fight is in the dog, basically. And I would ask the attorney if your mother, your sister, your next door neighbor, your wife, your husband, your parent, your daughter, your son were injured, God forbid, but injured in a car accident, would you choose yourself to be their attorney, or would you refer them to somebody else? And if so, if you would refer them to somebody else, why? Is there someone else that you think is going to do a better job than you? Is it that you know that there's an attorney up the street that's swinging for the fences and you're taking whatever settlement offers come along? Are you referring your cases out to another trial attorney to actually try the cases? That might sound weird, but it happens all the time. That's how some of the better attorneys, that's how some of the top attorneys get most of their cases, is on referral from attorneys that aren't going to try them but got the personal injury case in the first place. It's perfectly legitimate. It's a legitimate way of doing business, and it's how it's done, but you should ask that question of the attorney that you're going to hire. So I think that if you ask these questions and you listen to the answers, and not only listen with your ears, but listen with your eyes, watch the attorney as he makes the, while he makes the answer for you, then you'll get a gut feeling. And I think you can follow your gut feeling. You can think about how much empathy that attorney has for you, for your situation in your case. And I think that's the most important thing you can do, to find the best attorney early in the case so that you put the case on a path to success. My name's Ben Schwartz. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're searching for an attorney, I wish you the best of luck. I hope that you have a very good experience. And if you want to contact me, please send me an email, ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/schwartzandschwartz.